Okay, for this part of this lesson, this is about doing the corrections you made to your tests. So each section that you did wrong, I will quickly show you where the information is in the lessons and also a quick overview of what happens. So question 1 was about using stem and leaf diagrams to present data. The lesson was actually on the 12th of November, and what we had to do was actually add to this stem and leaf diagram the weight 23. Notice it's a sorted stem and leaf, it's a final diagram. So the way to split the 23 up is the 2 becomes your stem value, and you enter the leaf value in the right place in its row. Okay, so you go off, do the same thing for the other one. Then reading that information, what you have to find out is where the lightest animal is, and the heaviest animals. Well, you have to look at the numbers that are placed on the leaf side. And zeros are important. A 0 is the weight of an animal. So you must pay attention to those numbers. Zeros aren't just, there isn't anything here. This 0 here means there's an animal weighing 40 kilograms. Range is the difference between the heaviest and the lightest item. The modal group is which one of the stem values and what does it mean. So say I thought this was the modal group. This is actually the 10 to 19 group. So I would list 10 kilograms to 19 kilograms as the modal group. The mode weight is find the longest list of the same digits. So they must be next to each other. So if I found there's nothing else better than these 2 9s, I've got a mass of 29 kilograms is my modal weight. Okay, question 3 was to do with presenting information from frequency diagrams. That was a lesson on the 16th of November, so we've got the videos and things there. The basic overview is to remember that each group cannot overlap. You cannot have 2 places that somebody might be able to enter their value. So this score, 1 to 5, as it's discrete, the next score is 6. So the next group needs to start at 6. To the best of your ability, you should try to make all groups the same width. Second part of the question was to make sure these 2 numbers are added in. So which group would you put the 10 in? Now it's not in either of these top 2, so it must be in one of these. Which group would you put 16 in? Now notice at the top, there was a little tip for you on how to format it. If you think that this group is going to get the 16, 2 ways to show that you've got an extra one here would be to use Alt-Shift-5 and it will put a strike through that whole line. The alternative, if you can't do that easily, would be just put a little minus on the end to show that's the end of a group of 5. So both of these count as 5. So you need to enter 10 and 16 into this table once you've got some graphs. The last part is the frequency. Now frequency is how many people got the score. So as this table stands, scores 1 to 5, I've got 2 people. Scores 16 to 20, I've got 3 people. Down here, whatever group this is, currently has 4 people in it. So you fill in the frequency and how many people there are in total. That's filling out that frequency table. Because we can't draw pie charts, the question here was about how do you calculate the angle for the pie chart. The lesson was on the 18th of November, and the way to calculate the angle is work out the total frequency for the values. Okay, so you need to know how many people were in the survey or how many people did this English test. And remember that that is going to be represented on a circle which has 360 degrees. So there's 360 degrees around here. Now you can work out what one person is worth. So if you had 18 people here, which is what this lot shows, if you have 18 people, that means each person is 20 degrees, and I would put in 40, 80. By the way, these aren't the correct answers, but work out the total frequency. For each person, how many degrees are there? So share 360 by the number of people, and that tells you the angle for each group when you count up the number of people and multiply by that angle. Right, this is questions 5, 6, 7. The lesson was on the 18th of November, put up on the 18th of November, sorry. That's group frequency tables. What we need to actually identify is, notice again, these groups don't overlap, because this group weight is 60 to 70, but not including 70. There's no equal part. The 70 is included in the next group. So we need to describe each group that we've got a column for. Okay, I forgot where we were, I just had to do the registration. So we were just talking about the groups here, and the groupings then, we've got this first group where we're showing from 40 to 50. Now, there is a clue in this diagram that you've got 60 to 70, they are showing is 9. So this mark is at 9, and that's 10. So 2 small squares down must be 1 person. So you can go through and describe the group here. That second group, that's these 2 boxes. Third group and fourth group have been done for you. Notice the last one has a nice easy number to put in. Then you've got 2 extra groups here and here. Now you need to be careful that you're counting the squares correctly. We've got 10 small squares is 5 people. So that should give you an idea of what 2 small squares vertically means, and tell you how many people there are in this group, how many there are in this group. Check against that group, or actually check that group and that group. If you've read them correctly, you should then be able to say this one is 3. Okay. You're asked to say which group is a person with 70 kilograms in. Notice the boundaries. This one does not say equal to 70. This one has equal to 70. So this is the group that that 70 kilogram person would be in. And the last one, the biggest problem people had with this last question is you did try to make even groups, but the last grouping, a lot of people went, let's go up. Well, first of all, a lot of people went in tens. You don't always go in tens because you often wind up with lots of gaps. If you went in tens, you'd have 60 to 70, 70 to 80. Well, everybody be in those top 2 groups. These next 2 would be useless. So the grouping isn't 10. Some people tried separating these out so that they're split evenly, and I think they were doing things like 61 to... what's that gap? Yeah, they went 61 to 65, 165 to 169, 169 to 173, 173 to 178. Each of these were 4 wide. This last one was 5 wide. Those people probably got half a mark. The sensible thing to do with them is to use sensible round numbers that make nice even sized groups. So 161 is approximately 160. 178 is approximately 180. So we need 4 groups spanning the distance from 160 to 180. So that's a quick run through the sections where you can find the work. I'd like you to make corrections to the test now, please. I'll send out an extra message now with it. Make your corrections, try and get everything correct. And there's another task as well for today's lesson that I'll talk about in the lesson.